This is Chris.
And this is Ramon.
Let's check in.
Third Dimension Production.
Good, brother.
Yeah, not much, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a nice little minute. A lot of I feel like it's been kind of slow. It's like this last 2 weeks and shit got really like kind of hectic.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like at my job, there's like a total of 4 cases of COVID-19.
Oh,
There's yeah, total 5 possible. So yeah, it's on campus, and we trying to prevent it from going rampant. But
is it from like a staff or is it like a someone that they brought in?
no, it's people that's been there for a while, but it's 2 staff and like possible 3 youth. All in the same. Well, one is not, but all in the same unit. I mean, this is
Yeah.
public information because it's on.
Right.
I've seen it
I don't want
on
to
the
do this and
website.
incriminate myself and get.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, so people like, now we have to wear a mask at work, like it's a requirement, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, she was wild right now. People stressed out. A lot of like people like, what positions like myself are asking like, can we work from home? You know what I'm saying? But I get, why they're like they come to work anyway because, it's a correctional facility and the more bodies the better. I get it. And somebody got to be there. So I
Yeah.
feel
It's
like,
a 24-hour
like in solid.
facility.
What?
I said it's a 24-hour facility, right?
Yeah. So I feel like in solidarity. You know what I'm saying? I'll go come to work, try to protect myself. I mean, it sucks, but it is what it is. We'll see. We'll see what comes of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know for us, we're still working from home doing telework, so that's going pretty well. Um, I know there's been like talks about or the other organizations having their employees work from home indefinitely.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
like
know.
my wife, her boss told her that they ain't coming back to work this year. It's like
Yeah,
I mean they're gonna be working from home for a minute.
yeah, yeah. I know some folks of mine that work for Google. They said they're not coming back until next year, and then they're going to be like slowly having waves of people return back to work. But for those who work in like the tech industry, man, I mean, that's a great opportunity to just be able to like work from home.
Yeah.
Uh, but like folks who are essential workers or even with my job, I'm a mental health consultant, and I guess they're trying to implement, well, I wouldn't say they're trying, but they are, I guess with the population I work with, which is, kids that are in preschool or younger, they're doing the so. But the thing with the class dojo is that, I feel like that's more geared for kids that are like maybe like in elementary school, middle school, and high school.
Yeah.
you know I don't know how effectively that would work for a kid that's like pre-K or that is younger and stuff.
Mhm. Now, what's Class Dojo?
So it's pretty much like an online class really.
Okay.
So we're learning, what I'm saying, virtually.
Yeah.
Like,
And you figure like that's for a kid who could really sit down and focus.
yeah, I mean, you got 3 5-year-olds whose attention span is like
Yeah. Yeah. How is the telehealth going for you? I know for me, like it's hit and miss because I do it with little kids.
it's cool. I mean, for me, like it took a while as far as like to get acclimated to it. Because I mean, I'm just kind of just used to just doing things how I want to. I just don't have necessarily like a set schedule. But
Hmm.
um, I had to definitely like write out like my schedule and have some kind of like organizational skills, you know, um, to be included into that because what I was doing was just all over the place. Like the first month, and I was like, okay, I need to like get some kind of schedule formulated so I can like have things to do like consecutively instead of just like doing stuff just here and
Hmm.
there.
Yeah.
Um, it's been a cool transition. It's been working for me. I can definitely see myself doing this. You know, if I were to be able to do this from home, I can definitely see myself doing that.
Hmm.
Um, just needing that what I'm saying, like face to face interaction, is definitely needed, especially with working with kids,
Yeah.
especially with the line of work that we do. People want that, that one-to-one, face contact and stuff, be able to
Hmm.
talk. And, you know, a lot of folks aren't really like, computer savvy as well too, as I'm learning.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
It's
get
real.
like a Zoom call can be like, very high anxiety for some adults.
Hmm.
I would just at my father's place out in Seattle, and he I was helping with him trying to get acclimated to his iPad, and that was just like a struggle within itself.
Yeah.
And he was just having high anxiety and stuff, and I was just trying to like talk to him like step by step, and he was just like getting upset, and he's like, "Man, I just don't know what to do. I can't do it." And I'm like, "Dad, just take a deep breath, like relax, like you're not gonna be able to like just be like an expert, with learning how to do the internet." He just actually started learning how to like text message and stuff.
Oh man, yeah, he OG for real.
Right. He's Stone Age, man. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, I do know like cause like I got an older boss. Well, not a boss. He's not my boss, but he's the manager on the unit that I work for,
Hmm.
or that I work on, and they was having Skype meetings, and he was struggling. He was like, I don't know what to do. I said, "Fam, all you gotta do is click that link." And he was like, "What? This
Exactly.
link?" I was like, "Fam, see that link right there? Click it."
Nah,
He was like, "What?" I was like,
that's what I was telling my pops. I'm like, he's like, what do I push next? What do I do next? I'm like, you just, what I'm saying, click this, just read, what, the instructions are telling you, even when like to like log in, like, just
mhm.
put your username, your password, log in.
Yeah. Like, did you create a username and password? I don't remember. Like,
I
damn.
know, I know. Then I have to like go to his Gmail account and try to find his like password and stuff. And
Hmm.
oh my
Yeah.
god.
So yeah, I definitely, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
Hmm.
But it's so like it's so like normal for us that I like that I really forget that some people just have, they just don't know,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
I would
So
say for us, I mean, we kind of grew up in an era where, technology was kind of like a part of life. I would say
mm,
from like the 90s, like mid 90s, like all the way up to present time, like, when computers were actually like starting to be implemented into like, classrooms. Um, and then, we had to do a lot of our like, papers and stuff on the
yeah.
computer. So I mean, for us, I mean, we pretty much got familiar with it at a pretty early age and stuff, and then the technology just started progressing, and so we just had to keep up, you know, from that on. And then
Yeah.
if you got one at the house, you're familiarizing yourself with it as well too. So
Yeah. I was reading articles, or I seen a few articles. I was like saying that people working from home will be like more. It would be like more like a thing, like because it's proven that we can do it, and that in some cases it increases productivity. Do you think that you could work from home? Like, well, you said you could, but I mean, but like forever. Like, do you think you work from home forever?
I don't know, man. I think I would like to actually mix it up. I was having a conversation with my lady about this, and we were just saying how being able to like do a mix of working, whether you work in the field, or whether you like primarily just work from home, just having that mix up of the two, will definitely be a lot, it'll be a lot less stressful, and then it causes for more productivity, you
Hmm.
know, be able to like, you know what I'm saying, feel good about their job instead of just like being at their desk or, you know, just being out in the field, you know, all the time. I think being able to like split that up, I think it would be definitely good, especially for like, you know, their mental wellness as well too.
Yeah.
Because, like the monotony of like, you know, just being at your desk and, you know, sometimes just being like in a stressful work environment, you know, it might not be good for you. So, you know, just having it divvied up into like, you know, being at work or being at home or just primarily being at home, I think I think that's good. I think they're gonna definitely like push for like, you know, folks to work from home since, you know, they see that it's working, you know, for
Yeah.
most people.
Yeah. I can understand that. I know Twitter, the CEO said that they work from home forever, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
And I can
yeah.
see, you know what I'm saying? Because like I'm sure his office space is probably something fat. He probably saw that, you know, saying that bill, like, damn, like 10 million for this month and nobody there. Nah, bro. Like that start to add up, you know what I'm saying? So
Real.
and it saves like room for, I mean you can hire several more employees if you don't have an office building. You know, you can hire more people.
But I mean, also look at the like, you know, larger picture too with that, you know, with a lot of folks working from home, you know, it saves a lot on, you know, gas
Mm-hmm.
and like pollution. You know, there's not as much
Parking.
traffic, parking, you know what I'm saying, cleaner air, healthier environment, you know what I'm saying? Like I think there's a lot of benefits to, you know, working from home, as opposed to like, you know, having to drive to your office
Mm-hmm.
every day, Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
So
definitely. You
a
know, I
lot
know
of
my wife.
yeah.
She
I'll
had
say
to
that.
drive. She had to drive to work every day. It's about $18 a day to park. You know,
hmm Yeah.
sometimes it'd be cheaper. Like she found like the cheaper lot that was like $8, but that was a far little walk she had to do. So,
Right.
but savings. Yeah, you're right. It saves money, saves pollution, saves. Like you said, some work environments are stressful.
And then also look at it too, like you're probably going to be eating a lot more, you know, home cooked meals instead of having to like buy stuff, you know, from fast food or food
Yeah.
carts and everything. So, you know, that weight that you put on from like, you know, working out, you know, doing any meal prepping, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That could be beneficial as well too, eating healthier
Yeah.
food.
Yeah. We were just talking about how much, like, well, when we used to commute together, how much like we felt like we lived in the car. Like we would get in the morning, get up, go, drive, drop my daughter off. We would, I take her to work, and then after work, I pick her up, and then we be in the traffic, and then we got to pick my daughter up, and then we hit more traffic. I feel like some days we wouldn't get home till like 6 o'clock, and I would leave like my job like at 4.
Yeah.
Get her job like at 4:30. Pick her up.
Mhm.
So yeah, just so it's definitely more pros than cons to me. Except for like if your internet go out or something like that, because
Right. Yeah, so well, or unless you have like a hotspot on your phone.
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
That's
So it's
true.
like, you know, there are alternatives to this. So
Yeah, I gotta you know, are you like keen to like microaggressions and micro assaults?
keen as like, am I
Like,
like, when I see it or when it happens
yeah,
to me?
or like if you heard a story, you was like, yeah, that's definitely a micro assault.
Hell yeah. I feel, I mean,
So
black, you know what I'm saying, working in a like predominantly like, you know, white space. I mean, I feel like on a regular or often you dealing with microaggressions, you know, whether
so
they subtle or whether they be, you know what I'm saying, very blatant.
yeah, let me tell you the story that happened to me this week. So, the manager of my unit, like I said, he's not my manager. He's just the unit manager. So he wants to ask me a question, right?
hmm
And he's old school. He's an odd guy. Like I'm not sure why he's even still a manager. Anyway, that's another topic. He asked me a question like, why does these black youth use the N word so much, right? I'm listening. I'm like, okay, well, where this is going, And I was like, it's just, I'd say it's something that, like these kids you're in these kids' home, When people are at home, we're gonna say different things, like this is kind of, this is part of, you know, this is part of what we do.
Yeah.
So he keeps going, he keeps going, he keeps going, and I'm like, bro, like, you know what I'm saying, like, so he said he had like some sorry ass examples of why like they shouldn't say it. Like instead of just saying something like, like I consider it foul language and you shouldn't use foul language. That would have been cool. But like his examples would have been like, well, not cool, but I would have understood it. You know what I'm saying? But he used examples like, these white kids around here saying things like, "Hey, my white boy," these black kids will be mad. I was like, oh shit.
But the co realizes that they said a damn word too.
They do, and he didn't mention that. I didn't mention that either, but they definitely do say it around there. And
Right.
then he just kept going. He kept going, and then he said things like, Chris, you're a professional guy. I consider you be the most professional person. You know what I'm saying? Like the most professional it can be. And I don't hear you running around here saying it. I said so smart, like, well, I'm at work. When I'm at home is different. But he didn't hear that though. He didn't hear that.
You were
And,
saying,
but he said something like something the effect of, when you're with like your family and you guys are all sitting around, I couldn't imagine you guys saying that word. You just don't seem like those type of people. I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
I heard a lot of microaggressions in just from what you're telling me. For one, he said you're the most professional. Like, what else am I supposed to be less than?
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was thinking. I was like, what does my language have to do with my professionalism?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I told him, I was like, like instead of me getting mad, I said, if you feel this strongly about the use of that word with these youth, why don't you pull about 3 of them in here and ask them, why don't they say it? You know what I'm saying? Like, or like, why do you say it? Like, why? I'm curious. And he brushed me off like, oh, no, I've done that before. They just tell me to, shove it up my whatever.
You just say that to them?
Huh?
He asked you to say that to them, or you?
No, I asked him to say that to them if he's so curious. But then he asked me if I could police the word, if I could curb the use of the word on the unit, if I could take it upon myself to curb the youth use of that word. So I deemed it the nigga task force. I am on the nigga task force.
Privilege at its finest, man. They got you. They got you as a collaborator of the Negroes.
I'm the leader of the pack. Man, I was like, and I felt, I just felt like, I said, I don't know if I feel offended. I don't know if I feel angry. I don't know if I feel like whatever. But the problem is though,
you trying to make you look like a house nigga.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's not that's not what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, but the thing is though, like, if I wanted to complain to somebody, like, or if I want to like write a grievance or something, like, who would I talk to in that place? You know, going to understand where I'm coming from. All my bosses look like him.
Do they have like a diversity and inclusion department, or
no?
And that's the
if
issue.
If they do, it's hidden in the stacks because I haven't seen an email out about it. Because usually, like you like in companies, you know what I'm saying, when they have those kind of things, there's an email out every week like, hey, we're meeting up. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, but I haven't seen it. I talked to another brother who works there. He's like a policy person, and he was like, you're right, bro. I feel you. Like, I would be mad, but like, if I was in your shoes, I probably wouldn't know what to do either. Because like, who are you gonna tell that? That's gonna feel where you come from. You know what I'm saying? Like because I was thinking like, if I went to somebody higher up, would they really get it, or would they make me more mad?
They'll probably make you more mad, especially if it's a person that you're gonna be like, coming across, talking about these issues, and that's most likely, what happens, when you are trying to like look for someone who's in like diversity and equity department. You'll get this white guy named, let's just say his name is John or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell do you know about, diversity, culture, you know what I'm saying, like racism as a person of color? What can you tell me as a black person or as a black man about my issues dealing with, you know what I'm saying, systemic racism?
Yeah. Yeah, for real. And that was very like, that conversation was very systemic. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like, because it just proved like, if I went to a higher up and was like, hey, this happened, I see them saying to me like, well, they shouldn't be using that word. Instead of them hearing me say like, hey, this person gave me the task to stop one specific word on the unit. You know what I'm saying? Not to monitor the use foul language, not to, you know what I'm saying, nothing like that. And if it's foul language, every staff should be trying to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, like if it's foul language, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like if foul language is not allowed, if it's not a rule, every staff should be trying to monitor. Am I not, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if that's the rule.
But here's the thing about that. It's like,
And but before you go, I'm not saying I agree with the rule. I'm just saying, like, if that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, then it's everybody's task, not just mine to, you know, to come through like the nigga police and say, hey, stop using that word. You know what I'm saying? We should uplift each other, brother.
right. I feel you. And that's frustrating, man. I mean, that's hella frustrating. But my thing with that is, does he even ask himself, are there, you know, white colleagues of his that say that word, the nigger word or nigger, you know, amongst, you know, their colleagues talking about black people?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they do that, you know what I'm saying, in their little congregation of, you know what I'm saying, folks. You know, they probably be talking all kind of, you know what I'm saying, crazy stuff about black people. And I'm sure the N-word definitely gets, you know what I'm saying, in that conversation. So it's very one-sided, and it always seems to always focus on, you know what I'm saying, black people. Why is it that we're always the focal point of, you know what I'm saying, stuff that, you know, has to deal with us? Like, that's something that I wouldn't say it's our issue, but that's something that, you know, we, you know, have to worry about. You don't have to worry about that because you're not even living in our, you know what I'm saying, where you're not walking in our footsteps. You don't know the reason, you know what I'm saying, why that word, you know, became what it was and how it's being used in present time and stuff. You don't have a historical content because you're asking me about these things, but you're not educating yourself on it to even gain some insight. So what does that say about you as far as like trying to be more understanding than just saying, oh, I think this is a bad word and it needs to be, you know, not said, or I need you to, like, you know, police and make sure these kids aren't saying it. Like, no, that just goes to show how much of your privilege that, you know what I'm saying, you're not even like realizing that you have, or that you're, you know what I'm saying, enforcing. So it seems like you got a lot of work to do within yourself, you know what I'm saying, before you even have this conversation with me about, you know, why kids shouldn't be using the N-word.
You know what I'm saying? And if he was my boss, would that be a measurable objective on my performance review? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know, like just that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like you ask me to do something, I'm not gonna do it. But you know what I'm saying? If you were my superior, you know what I'm saying? Like, would that be like a legit measurable objective? And that's a concern. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna hold me to that standard? You know?
Right up.
And then associate my professionalism with, you know what I'm saying, my use of language. You know, I don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying? That's just part of my, you know, I feel like, you know what I'm saying, one, you know what I'm saying, like me sharing office with two other people as a mental health person shouldn't be allowed. You know, so I should have my own space.
I definitely feel that.
You know what I'm saying? But I do work in a correctional facility where I feel like mental health, they kind of want to do it, but they kind of don't. You know what I'm saying? You know, no offense to them, but I just feel like we're not doing what we, you know, saying like what we should be doing, you know. But like I said, it's a jail first, and it's a whatever, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Well,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of shit people got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a person of color, you know what I'm saying? Like what kind of measurable objectives, you know what I'm saying, are they telling you that you got to do, you know what I'm saying, like that you got to, you know, tolerate, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just crazy. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, that was it. That's all that happened to me this week, and I ain't never experienced nothing like that. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like this, I mean, like maybe I was pretty like microaggressions. Like, oh, I was surprised that you ran groups so well, shit like that. You know, but you know that kind of shit is like, oh, whatever. But damn, I mean, to put that on, I mean, just to kind of have that conversation. And like I said, this guy is out of whack. He should have been gone years ago, and for whatever reason, he's there.
You got folks like that within my department and in organizations, so I definitely feel you. I'm like, how did you get this job? Like, who hired you, man? Like, what was you saying in the interview questions? You know what I'm saying? Like I wonder.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's that kind of stuff that you got to deal with, man. You got to deal with, and it's not cool. And it's really cool, not cool, because like in most spaces, most jobs that I have, I've had the opportunity to have like a diversity group, like an African American Alliance group, where I
Mm.
could come like once or twice a month, and we can sit down and talk about this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
here I don't see that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it's because lack of effort, or it's not enough of us to what I'm saying, to try it, or just because the management style, or like because supervision style, because because if you're a staff, you can't really leave the unit, what I'm saying, to go and do a group
Right,
front or
right,
what I'm
right,
saying, you
right,
got to stay on the unit. So, well, no, I take that back, because there is a LGBT group that used to happen. So, you know what I'm saying? But it was youth focused, you know what I'm saying? Like if a staff would stop by and it was cool with the staff, the other staff, though, they could stop in. But, and there is, like a BRB group, you know, say for the black youth, but they need something for like the staff too, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I think affinity groups are definitely needed in organizations. Like you said, so you can have a safe space. You can talk about issues. If you're wanting to do like some kind of like systemic change within the organization, you guys can, what I'm saying, talk about that and, devise a plan and present that to leadership. Um, but yeah, like I feel you. I mean, and then like when you don't have those groups, you feel isolated. You know,
yeah,
like you don't have a voice, you don't know who to talk to, and then you're having like issues, whether it's with your boss or whether it's with what I'm saying, the organization itself. Them doing like some racist stuff, and you're like who can I talk to? Who can I speak about these issues and get them resolved?
hmm
um, because I mean, a lot of us, especially Black professionals, we feel very, alone in this fight, and what I'm saying, in these workspaces.
yeah,
Because the more, I hate to say it, but what I'm saying, as you become more successful and you get more degrees and stuff, you start seeing less of people that look like you. You know what I'm
real,
saying? You start, going up and what I'm saying, corporate.
hmm
When you
yep,
see less of yourself, you know what I'm saying, you feel a lot more isolated, and that can become very stressful. I mean, I feel like I've been alone a lot since undergrad.
yeah. And that's
um
real, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of, well, I had one job where my team was a team of people of color, and they dispersed us real quick. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
they don't like folks getting together. They're like, oh,
you
together,
know,
we gotta break this shit up.
it's too much. You know what I'm saying? It's way too much. But yeah. So, but like but in my case, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for a person. Like, I feel like it's hard for a person to see like the issue, what you know what I'm saying, like why I have an issue with what that person said to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he called me like a nigger, then I feel like, saying that's clearly like out of order. You know what I'm saying? Like, people know that that's wrong, right? But
Yeah.
when you say things that like indiscreet or kind of like questionable, people will be like, oh, well, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like just being a person of color, like those are the parts that like get me frustrated. Is like the stuff that's debatable, and when it's debatable, you're probably gonna debate the other way and not the right way. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
mhm.
That's what I think. Because it's so like, it's so like indiscreet, and it's so like, well, he really, like if you ain't really live in my shoes, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really don't see, like I just, like, I can see that you wouldn't understand where I was coming from. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they will
you know,
never really fully understand because they're never going to be able to live in your. I mean, they could have some understanding, they could be sympathetic, but I mean, they'll never be empathetic to like our struggle.
hmm
you know but I mean, and that's some of the work they need to do. I think every white person needs to like just at least just read and be immersed as far as just with like this with the history,
yeah,
with the history. And then I don't think it's necessary to ask questions, but definitely try to be vulnerable about your own racist bias, or what I'm saying, things that you struggle as a white person, um that you may have, either did some discriminatory stuff, stereotypical, racial bias, or whatever, and then, try to, deal with that, and then not try to repeat those same mistakes that you may have made in the past to, what I'm saying, whether it's to become a better white person, ally, or, someone that's in solidarity. Because I mean, we definitely need, what I'm saying, folks to do that type of work because, when it comes to us, whether it's, speaking up and advocating for, things that we see that's going on in organizations, especially when it comes to like, us or, the people that we serve that are, Black or people of color. I feel like, and this has been my experience, I don't never see, most white colleagues speaking about these issues.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes it very hard and, very exhausting when you're always, speaking and advocating and you feel like you're at the front lines. But here you're like, you got this fence sitter, but then they'll say after like, the meeting or whatever, oh, I should have said this. And yeah, you're right. I'm like, why the fuck you didn't say that in the meeting?
Yeah.
And so I feel like, if you're on the fence and you're not doing, particular type of things to do the work, I just feel like you're part of the problem.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Blank period.
Yeah, because when I need it, what I'm saying, I need you to say something.
I need you to speak the hell up.
But yeah, that was my experience at work this week. Luckily, the manager is retiring, so hopefully I don't get any. Well, I mean, I'm going to get some of that stuff, but hopefully, like, not just damn, just not just
right.
Hopefully, it's few and far in between. You know what I'm saying?
Man, so what you got going on for the weekend?
I got to go to work today. It's my Friday. And then man, really just I got some stuff to do for for my podcast and stuff like that.
How's that?
Huh?
How's that coming?
It's going cool, man. Started the new season. It's up and swinging. I've had 2 podcast episodes. I've had 2 videos. The goal for my podcast this year is to have a video content for every episode that I do. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be easier because we got Zoom things, like things like Zoom.
Yeah.
So, like, I'm just trying to do that. I've been thinking about, like, a career shift. Trying to, like, step my, like, really, like, so I don't get pigeonholed into a therapist role.
Yeah,
I'm putting it in the forefront of my mind, what I'm saying, to be thinking about doing other things, maybe like equity consultant, program director.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
so I had an informational interview with another brother who's a pretty high up at my job, and he told me, he said, what you got to do is you got to do your job good, but don't do it so well that they can't see you doing anything else. You know what I'm saying? So, like, and that's just for, like, if you want to move up in the company, so, like, if you want to move around the company, you like, do it well, but don't do it so well that they can't see you do anything else. Because if they can't, they'll keep you wherever you're at, what I'm saying? And they'll give you every excuse, saying why they can't promote you or put you doing something different, so. It was pretty good because
it's like a catch-22 low key though.
Well, yeah. I mean, it is. You know what I'm saying? And he said,
we always have to do. You know what I'm saying? We always have to go above and beyond. To even like, not to even say we're being recognized, but to feel as if like, okay, I'm doing the work, and I'm not, getting no shit, and I'm not, I wouldn't say getting shit, but it's like I'm not having, like folks in, leadership or like my supervisor, feeling like they have to like micromanage me or that to always like look over my shoulder, question my work. Like, I feel like sometimes we always have to like, do shit like that.
Yeah.
Just to avoid, that scrutiny.
Yeah, true. You know what I'm saying? And just like, yeah, you gotta like, the games all the games that people play, you got to play it at a different angle. You know what I'm saying, when you're a person of color. So like, so, but really, I was talking to my supervisor from LCSW too about it. You know, just kind of figuring out ways to maneuver. You know what I'm saying, trying to really just put it at the forefront of my mind. Like like my my resume says that that I'm great in direct service work, but I'm trying to like do something different. You know, like I'm trying to really expand on things and to see how I get my foot in the door with having so much direct service work. And people be like, well, you like, how do you know about policy and leading projects and things like that? So I'm trying to really like just maneuver a little different, you know what I'm saying? And I forget that our degree focus, for our social work degree was actually,
Yeah.
like leadership and communities and things like that, or organizations. So that's the one spin I can use, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I got a lot of direct service work, I got a lot of clinical experience, but actually my, my program focus was, was organization leadership and community, you know? So
Yeah.
what you got going on for the weekend?
Nothing. I have a Zoom slash funeral service. Or it's a Zoom meeting slash funeral service for my aunt who passed away this Monday. She died of stroke. Well, that wasn't what actually killed her, but she was on the ventilator. Well, they took her off the ventilator after she had a stroke in her left and right. And then
how your family doing? Are they cool? They
they trying to maintain it, you know what I'm saying? Like any, death when it comes to like, most families, especially Black families in particular, it's very hard, especially when you're like close knit. So yeah. And it's tough. It's tough. It's definitely tough. I know for me it's challenging because my auntie, she lived in Oakland, and so like, when I would go to Oakland, I wouldn't necessarily always like go and see her and stuff. And so sometimes I feel guilty. I'll have these like moments of guilt in my head, like, man, like I wish I would have, what I'm saying, saw my auntie, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And, I was in supervision the other day, and I was talking to my supervisor, Andre, and he was like, did you go there to, did you go there to see her in particular? I was like, no. And he was like, well, you can't get guilty about, what I'm saying, for that, because, I mean, you weren't necessarily going there to see her in particular.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're right. And then he was like, you gotta definitely think about, what I'm saying, the memories and the things that you guys did share, and not about, the stuff, focusing on why you could have, or the shouldas and wouldas and all that stuff. Just focus on the things that, you guys had, memories, and, the times that you were with her, and, happy moments and stuff. And I was like,
yeah.
You definitely gotta focus on that, because it's easy to, be hard on yourself about things that you could have, should have did, while they were still, living. And we always do that, what I'm saying? Like we make ourselves, feel guilty about, what we could have done and stuff. But that's not always the right approach. But it's easier said than done.
Real, that's real, and that's good perspective, what I'm saying, that he had, because nobody really like, what I'm saying, it'd be different if like, like you saying, like you knew that her time was coming and you still was like, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah. And that was another thing he said too. He's like, you didn't know, what was going on with her. You didn't know her underlying condition, and which I didn't. I didn't know if she was having some like, some health issues. I believe she was on blood pressure medication, and she didn't take her blood pressure medication.
Yeah.
That was one of the caveats of why she did have a stroke, because her pressure was like, I think it got 240 or something like that, something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah.
I know. I definitely like also put a lot of perspective, towards, you know what I'm saying, just my own like health, you know,
Yeah.
just making sure that, you know, I'm eating right, making sure, you know, I'm exercising, you know, taking care of my mental, spiritual, emotional, like all that stuff, because, you know, especially during these times right now, I mean, folks are like, you know, stressing out, you know,
Mm,
going through a lot of like mental health, you know, issues. Their folks are dying because of this whole, you know, virus. You
yeah.
know, it's a, you know, an enemy that we can't see. And so it's, you know, affecting us, Black people in particular, at, you know, alarming rate. And,
Mm,
and I mean, historically, we've always had, you know, I would say been impacted by, you know, just racism when it comes to like, you know, just healthcare in general. You know, we always get like the short end of the stick, and um, it's always um, inequitable, you know,
mm,
when it comes to like, you know what I'm saying, just like healthcare services and stuff. And so,
yeah.
you know, that seems to always be the case. And you can like, you know what I'm saying, trace that back all the way from like, you know, slavery to present time. There's a
Mm,
book that, you know, um, I suggested like my team to read called Medical Apartheid, and it talks a lot about, you know, just um, stuff that we've experienced, you know, from public health to healthcare to, you know, even being experimented on from colonialism all the way to present time and stuff, and it puts a lot of things into perspective, especially about what's going on currently with the COVID-19. So
yeah.
like recommend, you know, folks to read that because it's good information.
Mm, yeah. I've seen that book around.
Yeah.
You know, and you're right because like you know just St. Louis, our Missouri has the worst disparities. I think in one city, 100% of the COVID deaths are Black people.
Mm.
You know, I forgot what city that was, but I was like, damn. You know, like, sheesh. You know, 100%.
Well, I mean, it don't make it any better when like your health is, you're not like properly taking care of your own health. You're not eating right. You know, your diet comes from a Western diet. You know, you're eating all kind of like just healthy, unhealthy stuff. But you know, a lot of it has to deal with, you know what I'm saying, racism as well too. You
Hmm.
know, folks aren't, you know, getting proper, you know what I'm saying, like nutrition. You know, there's, you know, food deserts in some of those communities, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? Not getting like, you know, just healthy fruits and vegetables.
Man,
I'm sure they ain't got
food.
no damn Whole Foods or, you know, Trader Joe's
Yeah.
in some communities and stuff. And so it's like, you know, you gotta deal with what you have within your environment. And, you know, some of those things are just not healthy for us.
That's real. You know what I'm saying? That's real. Especially if you live in a food desert, you know. I remember the first time I heard about that, I was like, what?
Oh yeah.
Food desert.
Yeah.
Damn. But all that stuff is, all those pieces matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just kind
I
of,
do though. I do.
you know.
Yeah, man.
Well,
I
shit, man, hopefully
appreciate
your
you,
family,
Colorado.
I wish them well, you know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, death is, and I only imagine how it is. Like, now you like talk about a Zoom funeral. Like, I couldn't imagine like having to have, you know, like
Yeah,
after
a
my,
lot of family members aren't, you know, they're not here in Portland, and so
yeah.
you know they gotta, you know, come in on the Zoom call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sheesh. You know, well, man, well wishes to you,
I
all that
appreciate
stuff. You know, on a lighter note, I have a fantasy football draft. That's something fun I'm going to be doing this tonight.
football drafts.
Fantasy
Uh,
football
I'm
draft.
expecting football to come back sometime this year, right?
I mean, they are, but you know, you gotta stay ready. Just you know, you gotta stay ready, just in case if it don't, then it don't. If it do, then I'm ready to get that dub. I'm ready to get that trophy. You know what I'm saying? The title
Yeah,
belt.
man, I ain't did fantasy football in a minute.
Yeah. I mean, like it was up to me, I probably wouldn't do it, but the people that I run with are so like gung ho on it. I was like, all right, man, I got you. I'll I'll show up just to, you know, have some fun, something to do. You know, makes the game a little more, you know, fun to watch when you're trying to get them points.
Have you done like a Zoom happy hour yet?
I did a house party happy hour.
Oh yeah.
Woke up with a hangover. That wasn't cool.
Ooh.
But I did that because I was on a house party with my bro,
Yeah.
and homie popped in, and then his homie popped in, and another one of his homies popped in. I was
Nah,
like,
that go.
we're all here. Let's
Yeah.
kick it. But I'm supposed to do one tomorrow, actually. Supposed to
Yeah.
do one tomorrow at 2.
Yeah. I did one. Well, it wasn't like it was like a birthday. It was a birthday function.
Mm-hmm.
It was for my homeboy's 40th. He lives in
Ooh.
Chicago. And
The homie was turning 40?
40 milestone.
Hey.
Right. And so
Uh,
we did a birthday party, brunch mimosas. We were just drinking mimosas like for like 4 hours.
damn.
I know. And then we was taking shots. Then we was taking shots on top of that.
Okay. Y'all was getting it in.
Oh my God. I was
Anybody
like,
spill on their computer?
huh?
Anybody spill on their computer?
Nah.
That's the one I'm looking
I
for.
was sleepy. I was sleepy around. I think it was about maybe shit. We stopped around like maybe 5. We got on like at 11.
Damn. Okay.
I mean, it was between like, drinking and conversating.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we were just drinking like, just several hours straight.
Yeah.
We had some gaps in between, but I mean, that shit does add up.
Yeah.
We
Creep on you.
mimosas and then you got the shots going. You was like, oh my God. The next morning, man, was done data.
Yeah.
I was like,
Hey, I feel you. We can't be doing that like we used to,
it's a different type of drunk when you're at home as opposed to when you go out.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like you ain't like up and moving like you usually.
And then you pouring heavy too.
Oh yeah, you just like because you ain't got dry like you just.
Right, I'm pouring.
Yeah.
Man,
Shit, man.
I saw the
Well,
meme.
well, brother, you know what I'm saying? This was a good catch up.
Uh-huh.
I always appreciate talking to you because
Yeah.
you be putting me on game about shit. I love that.
You as well, man. Man.
But yeah, I'll be in touch with you, bro. Yeah, I'll see y'all in a minute. Appreciate whoever watched this video, you know what I'm saying, about us checking in. Because checking in is important. I feel like this was good. I feel like my day about to be real good now, you know what I'm saying? Because I was able to, fix things that other social workers probably don't understand, you know what I'm saying? Stuff we go through,
Exactly.
So, all right, y'all. Peace.
All right, peace.